Hello, everybody. Welcome inside the Fantasy Hut. I'm the league commissioner, David Kiarsis, bringing you our first video podcast of the season. It's playoff time in the league, and we're here to break down the six-team tournament and preview our first-round matchups. We're going to get our owners on the line to discuss the season that was a little bit and get their thoughts on the upcoming matchup. Unfortunately for me, I'm just the commissioner this time around. For the first time since 2011, D-Bud is not heading to the postseason. It was a season to forget for myself and my team, but the future is bright with Carson Wentz leading the way. But obviously not here to talk about me. Here to talk about 40s, Kamoli, Mace's Aces, Ball So Hard You, Hunt for Red October, and the Swords, our six teams that have been fortunate enough to make the postseason this season. We had some intriguing first-round matchups. After a very interesting season that came down to the wire, we had both our divisions decided in Week 13. The Swords, Hunt for Red October, getting the job done in those games to secure first-round buys. They await their opponents. Those opponents will be decided this weekend. We have our quarterfinal matchups. The first one, 3-seeded Kamoli against 6-seeded 40s, a rematch of the 2010 championship. And then we have 4-seeded Ball So Hard You facing off against his bitter rival in a matchup I can't wait to see against 5th-seeded Mace's Aces. We're going to bring in the owners to discuss the matchups, as I said. And we're going to start with Kamoli and 40s. 40s owner Joe Melillo, we're going to get him on the call. Kamoli owner Jamie Kamoli unable to join us this time around. But we'll talk about the obstacles that he's going to face this week.
Drew Brees!
Joe Melillo, thank you for joining us today. How are we doing tonight?
Well, playing Rock and Sock'em Robots with my son and eating a piece of ham. Life couldn't be better.
Sounds like he's ready for some playoff fantasy football.
Yeah. Devin, are you ready for some playoff fantasy football? Yeah!
Devin's ready too. That's great. Unfortunately, Kamoli was unable to make the call today. We weren't able to fit him into the Fantasy Hub's time slot. So we're just talking 40s right now. We'll break down some of the obstacles that Kamoli's going to face as well, though. But let's start with 40s. So, Joe, you're able to sneak into the postseason with the Week 13 win, but it was not the best performance, putting up just 127. Getting the job done, of course, is getting to the postseason, but doesn't spark a lot of confidence heading into the postseason. How are you feeling after the Week 13 win?
I think we soon forget how strong a 40s team is during the playoffs. If I do recall, I won a championship beating the number 3 seed, 2 seed, and 1 seed back-to-back weeks, and I snuck into the playoffs that year too. Anything can happen in fantasy. I say it every year, and especially with me sneaking in with a strong, very strong strength of schedule for myself, in the sense that the teams that my guys are playing are going to be very weak, at least in their positions.
So we're going to get to some of the obstacles that Kamoli has faced, but your biggest concern this week is the impact of the Zach Ertz concussion, obviously going through the protocol right now. Thoughts on what the injury would mean if he's unable to suit up for your team this week?
Can't control it. That's why I got 2 tight ends called Jason Witten. Got to go with Jason Witten. That's all it comes down to. I mean, it's part of the game. Every week I got guys that are like this. This time it happened to be, the number 40 or something wide receiver / tight end in the league. So, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. He could come out of it. He could still do it.
And Kamoli has his own tight end issues this week, as well as another player that's going to have to sit out. Rob Gronkowski and Juju Smith-Schuster both hit with 1-game suspensions at the worst time for Kamoli. Kamoli was rolling for 4 straight weeks, looked like the team to beat, was unable to beat the Swords last week to win the West, is now stuck in a first-round matchup without, a guy who's been his franchise player for a while, and another, young receiver, Smith-Schuster, who's been playing well. He's gone to the wire this week to find some replacements. As of now, it looks like those replacements are going to be Cameron Braid and Mike Wallace. And then, an injury impact for Kamoli, and it's been, a problem for some weeks now, was when Deshaun Watson went down. Kamoli's been kind of piecing together his second quarterback slot. This week it'll be Eli Manning, got his job back. Doesn't inspire a ton of confidence, but certainly better than rolling out Brett Hundley or Jacoby Brissett, who was previously on his roster. So we'll have
So
to
now
see.
that you're done talking about Kamoli's, let's talk about 40 some more.
That's what I'm transitioning into. And something that the Fantasy Hut is going to talk about when we preview this matchup is some of the matchups you have. You got your Panthers going against the Vikings. You got a lot of guys in the Thursday night game. Those are never ideal. Kind of what breaking down the matchups. What are you looking at as probably the most important thing for your team to pull out the win this week?
I definitely need the wide receivers to do something. Yeah, the quarterbacks, and obviously my whole team hinges on the quarterback matchup. And when Cam's not handing off to Christian McCaffrey, and Drew Brees isn't hitting Ted Ginn Jr., my team doesn't do anything, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. Just straight up, the quarterbacks are the key to my entire team. It's always been that way. That's why I make it a point to go after quarterbacks my first pick. Drew Brees has had an uncharacteristic year for sure, which is he's not going to hit that 30 touchdown per season thing. So we'll see. I mean, whatever. That's exactly what I'm looking forward to, is trying to watch these quarterbacks.
That is a good point. We haven't seen the usual Drew Brees that we've been accustomed to. He was 40's his first round pick. Let's see, I'm bringing up the ranks here. I mean, Cam is still 1, 2, 3, 4. Cam is the 6th best quarterback in the league. Drew Brees a little lower at 12. I mean, certainly you like to have 2 top 12 quarterbacks. That's what 40's is going to be rolling out this weekend. The Panthers' offense has been somewhat inconsistent, but you certainly like to have the ball in your franchise players' hands with a chance to move on in the playoffs, which he's helped you do just a numerous amount of times.
Yeah, and he helped me win before. He can help me win again. But the one downfall I definitely think of the team for the whole season, I've been thinking about it, is as soon as I paid you our dues, my team started going and losing. So next year I will not be paying till the end of the season.
Or you just pay me at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, that too.
And then, 40's obviously has become synonymous with winning in the postseason. It's playoff time where 40's shines its brightest. Any message for Kamoli, since he's not on the phone, ahead of your big-time matchup this week?
No, I don't run my mouth when they're not here. If they can't show up to the phone call, then they shouldn't show up. They probably won't show up to the game this weekend. So, maybe he should have thought twice before just like blowing up this opportunity to talk to me straight up one-on-one.
Sound like fighting words. All right, well, it'll be settled on the fantasy gridiron this weekend. Joe, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck this week.
Yeah, Drew Brees!
All right, so there you have it. We tried to get Kamoli on the phone. Timing was just an issue. I think he would like nothing more than to get some revenge against Joe. Joe, again, beating Kamoli in the 2010 finals, the only time Kamoli's been there. Hasn't had a lot of success since. Trying to get back there for the second time in franchise history. Still one of the 4 teams that have yet to win a championship. So we'll see if he's able to, like I said, overcome all those obstacles we talked about with some of the issues that he's having with his roster this week and pull out a victory. So now for the juicy stuff, matchup with a little more oomph to it, I think, given the 2 owners that we're going to get on the line here. We're going to get Ball So Hard U owner Keith Rakus on the line, as well as Mace's Aces owner Alex Mason, which I guess I should specify that he's calling his team Murphy's Law as of now, as he's continued to win since he made the change.
Hello?
Hey, Keith Rakus, how we doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks for joining the show. I'm gonna patch Mace's Aces owner Alex Mason in here now.
All right.
Mason would not pick up.
Your call has been forwarded.
All right, we're going to try him. We're going to try him one more time here. He didn't pick up.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
All right, not a good start to the show. We were missing Kamoli when we previewed the first matchup. Hopefully Mason is able to call in whenever he gets done doing whatever he's doing. So, Mr. Rakus, how are we feeling this week?
Not good. I mean, I don't know. I think I can get by this week, but not good overall. I'm a little disappointed.
Is some of that boiling over from the frustration of the Week 13 loss?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's nothing really I can do when you get 90 points from two players. It's a little tough.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes in fantasy.
Yep.
All right, so looking at the matchup, obviously there are kind of the most intriguing thing here is the overlap that you guys have with some of your players on some of these teams, with the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Bengals. Thoughts on your confidence and how points are going to break down, with those three teams?
It's going to be tough with that Seahawks game, especially. I'm actually kind of wavering on even starting Jimmy Graham against that defense. But Jacksonville D versus Russell Wilson is going to be a key matchup. If I can get some rushing touchdowns, which is a foreign thing in Seattle, that would probably work out really well for me. But yeah, if AJ Green's balling like he did on Monday night, that would also help. Take a little points away from Gio Bernard and neutralize Andy Dalton. So basically neutralizing his two quarterbacks this week will probably end up being huge.
And then talk about kind of what you're going to be doing this week, assuming this holds, relying a little bit on this Jags passing game, starting both Marquise Lee and D.D. Westbrook.
Yeah, that's also something I'm wavering on, but I'm actually leaning towards starting both of them. They both get pretty good their share of targets in the offense, at least lately, and I don't really see anyone else catching passes on that team other than Leonard Fournette. But I'm rolling the dice. Hopefully, they can get me at least double-digit points this week.
All right, here, hold on. We got Mason dialing in. Alex.
Hello?
Hey, hold on. I'm going to patch you in with Keith.
All right, hold on a second. I'm not ready for recording yet. All right, hold on. This might be my train. Hold on.
Well, you're live right now, Alex.
We're live right now as we speak. I wouldn't want anything other way, Commissioner Kiarsis.
All right, I'm going to merge you in then. Hold on. Hello, everybody here?
I'm here.
Yep.
This isn't my train.
All right, that's good. All right, so Alex, we've already started breaking down the matchup a little bit with Keith here. I think some of the things that we've already started to talk about that's going to be key for you and something I'm sure you've thought about is the dynamic that's going on in this Seattle-Jacksonville game. Talk about your general thoughts on having, the Seahawks in that and then the defense.
Yeah, well, the first thing I want to address is the recent name change of the organization, Murphy's Law. I would like that to be recognized by the league and the commissioner. That's the first thing I want to say. So, that being said, Keith's got no chance. That's the other thing. His team's garbage. It's flawed.
didn't even belong in the position he was in last week. Jacksonville Jags, top 25 fucking fantasy asset this year. Going to do work. Who else do I got in that game? Jacksonville, Seattle, Russell Wilson. Now, see, I'm not worried about the sacks because he's just going to run like crazy like he's been doing for the last 3 months, and it's going to be a pleasure to watch. 30-plus points, guaranteed.
So I think you kind of answered this next.
What's wrong with this kid?
I think you kind of answered this next question. Where's your confidence level at coming into the playoffs after winning your first scoring championship?
It's as high as it could be. I mean, I got the 3 best players in the league on my team, and the best defense, and it's not even close. The rest of my team might be a little flawed, but when you got that kind of explosive talent, talent wins games. Depth gets you. I don't know. Ask what's his face, Answorth, what depth gets you. I don't know.
And that's something that Keith and I have talked about in reference to last week's game. Those blow up games like Hunt for Red October had last week in that division championship game. Those can end up deciding matchups. So talk about some of the impact some of your recent injuries have had on what your lineup's looking like for the playoffs, Mason.
I hope I get to hear from Keith at some point. I guess maybe he forgot how to talk. He's trying to figure it out again. But, the Thompson injury was huge. The Benjamin injury. Benjamin's been a cancer to my team since the beginning. I cursed Kevin, and the minute he called me on draft day, convincing me that I needed this guy for some reason. And I'm glad he's hurt. I'm not glad he's hurt, but I'm glad he's not playing in my roster, and I don't have to think about starting him anymore. He wasn't producing at a high level, replacement level at best. So I don't feel like I'm losing much there. But Thompson hurt. Thompson definitely hurt.
So I'm sure we're going to see some fireworks from you two. Mason's already getting it started. Keith, talk about what it means to match up with one of your rivals. You did the same thing last year. Weren't able to come through with a win. How's this year going to be different?
I don't know. Basically,
sounds like Ben McAdoo.
But I've lost the team. They're doing what they want. We got Devontae Parker and Corey Davis fucking showing up late for practice here. They haven't done shit all fucking year. Goddamn underachievers. Terrell Pryor can fucking suck my dick. And basically, I just gotta hope for my Falcons to step up. And I don't know. I planned this weeks ago. I thought New Orleans defense was shit. And this is hopefully pays off right now with a big Thursday night. I just have a quarterback and a running back.
Oh, that's a big Matt Ryan and Freeman. I forgot. All right.
Yeah, number 2 and number 24. That's what I call them.
Yeah, the playoffs are going to get started real quick with this Thursday night game with the Saints and Falcons. A lot of fantasy relevant players playing this weekend in the league in that matchup, so it should be a big one to get us started. All right, fellas, I'm happy that we get Ball So Hard You, Mace's Aces round 3. You guys have met in the postseason twice before. The most recent time being when what did Brandon Marshall got? 20 catches in Mason Aces win in 09?
This is the third time we've met up in the playoffs?
Yeah, the first one was in the 07 finals.
Yeah, who won that? Who won that?
Damn it.
Well, hey, Mason, how many championships you got?
I have 0. Well, I'm not.
Wow.
Well, we talk about real life
That's
or fantasy
good, right?
life. Real life or fantasy life? Real life is 2.
What does that mean?
That means like real baseball because I actually stepped on a field like you. I said actually. That was not a jab. I said actually stepped on a field like you.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, okay. I thought you were talking shit.
No, not that. Not when it comes to baseball.
Hey, you wanna make a trade right now?
Baseball's a brotherhood. What kind of trade? First ever.
I don't know. What are you thinking?
Fantasy interview trade. All right, I'm thinking. What do you got? Who's your best keeper?
Give me Bryce Harper, bro. He was mine.
Who's your best keeper?
We'll let these guys decide this over the phone. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Good luck to both of you this weekend.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Well, there you have it. If that interview is any indication of what to expect when those two meet up on the fantasy gridiron this weekend, we should be in for a good one. I always love when those two get together for a big matchup. A lot of smack talk, and it's good for the league. This postseason should be good for the league. I think it follows a season without a truly dominant team. It's a wide open playoff. I think honestly any team could win. When you mix that with the craziness that happens in fantasy football, and you just never know what can happen any given week. Keith said it. Alex Smith and Tyreek Hill going nuts last week, probably single-handedly led Hunt for Red October to a division championship. You never know. You never know who's going to do that this week. So it'll be exciting to watch. Not so much for me since, again, I'm not in it. Hopefully I can get it done in the consolation bracket and not have to be that sacco. So we know that soon-to-be champ owner Jason Levine probably deserves that. So good luck to all our 4 teams playing this weekend. We'll be back next week to break down our semifinals, recap this week's games, and hopefully if Kamoli advances, get him on the line. And we'll chat with Hunt for Red October owner Pat McDermott and the Sorge owner Jamie Ansorge. Looking forward to it. Good luck to everybody this weekend.